First of all, let me correct a very widely held misconception, which is that COVID caught us unawares. Some of us had predicted exactly what is going on in Nigeria and in many developed countries, even before we knew what COVID was. If you go back to an interview I gave to the Guardian newspapers on the 30th of April 2017, that is almost 4 years before anything called COVID was ever identified, we strongly argued for the local production of vaccines as a means of ensuring medicine security for our country. At that point in time, we were roundly vilified by development partners who believed that economies of scale should be gained from producing these commodities in Asia and importing it into Nigeria. COVID has now proven us right. And it wasn't just meningitis. We spoke about local production during meningitis. We spoke about local production during Ebola. And during the past decade, every opportunity where we had a threat to access to medicines in Nigeria, we had strongly argued that Nigeria and Africa should concentrate on producing its own medicines in a means of ensuring that access to healthcare is guaranteed for its citizenry, and more importantly, or equally importantly, that socioeconomic variables such as job creation, capacity building, knowledge transfer, and revenue generation are also guaranteed in the process. Having said that, the local production of vaccines has two major areas where you can broadly categorize them into. One is the upstream, which is R&D that relates to the production of these life-saving pharmaceuticals. And the second is the actual production, which is the downstream. And these two aspects will not be possible if the policy framework is not available, because policy is what determines how different stakeholders key in. And I think one of the key things that was achieved in this administration was putting together a policy framework that ensures that Nigerians prioritize production of vaccines. A few years ago, when I was the executive secretary of the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Group, myself and colleagues strongly argued that this particular intervention should be prioritized. And based on that, this administration put together a consortium which was basically a federal government and a local manufacturer, and the output of that consortium is the BioVaccines Nigeria Limited, which is a company that is totally focused on producing vaccines in country. Now, other aspects of that framework which can now be seen as some advancement in the story about local vaccines manufacturing are the empowerment of stakeholders at the upstream level. So I'm aware that about 2 or 3 different candidate vaccines have emerged in several research focus groups across the country. And these groups basically emerged due to a prioritization by this government on ensuring that these interventions are produced locally. Furthermore, there is ongoing talks at the very highest level with people who are regarded as the eminent Nigerians group, which is Nigerians who hold very high offices in the international space, working together with DGs like myself and a few other stakeholders in the sector as regards putting together a country-wide integrated approach towards ensuring that local vaccines production entities emerge in Africa. So these are 3 or 4 different interventions that are going on at different various levels.